All right, so this case study I'd love to talk about because it was actually a teenage golfer who was playing at a very high level academy in Florida. Now, lives in this area, so I was able to work with him. But his presenting issue was back pain, and I have weak shoulders, right? And he's a golfer. His parents really want to make sure that he's able to do what he needs to do on that team. But also, of course, mom was worried about back pain, right? So we see him in the clinic, and we look at him and we say, okay, well, what's going on? Physically, actually pretty fit, right? He's on a good team. They go to the gym all the time. He actually has an athletic trainer there at his school that puts them through the paces, more than a lot of high school golf teams would. So this guy, the issue was never about strength for him, right? But he was getting back pain, and he was also saying that he was getting a little bit of like the yips, right, with longer irons and with his driver, because he just didn't feel confident in the swing, and he couldn't quite put a picture on it, right? So we go through and we evaluate and we're working on him, and maybe his hips aren't perfectly rotating, right? But it wasn't that bad, right? A young kid, strong kid, active kid, played basketball on the side, right? Nothing that would be really. Shoulders, it wasn't bad. It was just a little bit of strength that he may have needed in one side. I think he was getting an issue like an overhead lift, and he was concerned about that. But 2 or 3 sessions of just working on some shoulder stability exercises, and his pain went away with that. But then after about 2 or 3 sessions, or no, probably 4 or 5 sessions, I was like, so how's the swing? Didn't love it, right? And what we found was actually really interesting. He had an old ankle injury, ankle sprain, on his lead side, right? So what was happening is he was stiff in his left ankle, right? And if you know ankle sprains, stiffness usually happens, and then poor balance usually happens, right? So, on me, first of all, because I didn't even think of the ankle, right? Because it's not a common thing on day 1 or day 2. But as we went through, we started realizing, wait, okay, I think a lot of this is coming from the ankle. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads. He's like, my ankle's fine. But what we found is because he had he was not able to fully turn, right, because of the ankle sprain. And he also really didn't have great balance on that side, right? So the issue for him was that he was not confident. He was doing this all well and good, right? His backswing was great, his head was down, everything that he should. But then when he did his weight shift to the side, right, he was kind of stopping right about here, right? As opposed to really following through and going, because he didn't have that balance to be able to weight shift very quickly to his ankle. And he kind of self-limited himself because he knew his history of an ankle sprain. He wasn't really driving into that ankle, right? And one of the things that he did was he would open his toe up, right? Which is fine, but that also saps power, right? So any pro will tell you, like, if you don't have to open your toe, don't do it, because that is something where you don't have the ability to really whip around. So with this, and with that, we started really working on his ankle, flexibility, strength, and balance, right? Did that, great. He started actually getting a lot more confident in that follow through and going into it, right? He never had ankle pain this whole time, but his back pain went away because what was happening is he was stopping short with his trunk muscles in his low back. So he would get pain through the round and pain with faster swings, right? Particularly driver. But now that he was getting more confident on his foot, he was getting a nice slow and then stop, right? As opposed to like this abrupt stop, right? That it kind of jarred his low back. And what ended up happening is that his pain went away in his back because we were working on his lead ankle issues, right? So this is just another case study that if you are a golfer, right, with back pain, or with any type of pain, really, the hardest part about the golf swing is that it is so multifactorial, right? Every part of the body is involved, and it's involved fully one way and then fully the other. And if you're not good in either one of those, it will manifest because, all we gotta do is get a really small face on a really small ball and do it consistently, it will manifest in your swing. So this is a example of how a physical therapist can help a golfer. And then for him, he didn't have quote unquote like a golf pro or golf coach here because he would only come here for a short time. But the golf coach for the high school team was able to work with him, and he was able to progress through, and he had a pretty productive senior year. So hopefully this is helpful for anybody kind of looking and saying, okay, how do I manage my back pain? But also I really want to emphasize how a physical therapist can be a helpful tool to a golf program at really any level, from older golfers, right, who just want to have no pain while they're playing, all the way down to people really trying in their early part of their career at a very competitive level. So hopefully this helps you out. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. If you're in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, happy to look at you if you have any issues. Either if you're having pain, right, or if there's kind of like power saps where you just don't feel like your body's allowing you to do all your coach is able to tell you to do. And obviously, if you're a golf pro, I'd love to be able to coordinate and help you out with your golfers. All right, so thank you very much.